the moment you step out of home, you don't know how much safe you are. Whatever you use sanitization, you keep your places hygiene, but even the slightest contact with the person who's infected or the person who's even asymptomatic can lead to anything. And so definitely everybody is being very, very cautious of how they are moving out, how they're calling their teams, how they are interacting with them, whether they want them to come to the offices or not. And that has led to a huge challenge for us, because one, we have a fixed office space. So we take that place on rental, and then we give it out to other people as members. We take it for a good 3-year 5-year lease period, and when we give out to our members, we give it for a month, right? So for them, a month or 2 months, they can just come back and say, hey, I'm not using it because I'm going back home and I'll not be using your space for some time. It's so easy to say. But then I have my own fixed expenditures when it comes to taking rentals of these space, when it comes to managing the vendors of the space, when it comes to people. All of these people are the stakeholders of the business, and all of these people are essential. And when it comes to business not running, it becomes very difficult to manage them. You understand? What do I tell my team? That see, there are no members right now, so let's just call it, let's take a break. Not possible, right? Maintenance agencies, they come and say that my maintenance people have been coming, they're okay to come, but then you open the office. I can't open the office. So there are certain kinds of businesses which are impacted like ours, in a way wherein we feel that we are at a double-edged sword. There is nothing that I can take online. I can't take my physical space online. It's a physical space. It's not like an online business, or it is not like a physical business which I can even cater to online. So people who were giving or selling something physically, even people who were giving dance classes physically, have taken it online. Agreed? People who were giving yoga sessions physically have taken it online. People who were training physically are taking it online. But for us, since the product is a physical space, we feel that we are in a soup. But I think how we are right now managing it is the best way that we have. The best thing that we have created till now is the community bit. We've always said that we are a community of members, and this is what we truly believe in. And I think the basic value proposition, if you hold strong to it, then that is something which helps you tide through these difficult times. We have always been our focus has always been people, what they want, how they want things, how can we add more value to them. Now when such a scenario has come, now is the time when it's every relationship is a give and take relationship. Now we feel that it's our right to go back to them and ask help for them. So literally we've gone to the level wherein we've gone to them and said that, hey, to tide through this time, we have our members who have worked with us for more than 3 years now. They've been working with us, so they know how we do business. They know how we the kind of relationship we have built with them. And I think this is what we have earned over a period of time. And during this difficult time, when we are reaching out to them to pay a minute amount, a small negligible amount, which helps me to survive, but at the same time, which doesn't pinch their pocket, even if they're not using the space, a few of them are definitely coming up and helping us. So this is something that has helped us, as in terms of the value proposition that we had since day one, the way we have lived it, the way we have demonstrated it, is something that has come alive for us and is helping us stay afloat. Otherwise, it would have been really impossible, where it's very easy for our members to come and say, hey, I'm leaving and I might join in 6 months time, 4 months time, or a year, whatever. It's very easy for them. And it's very difficult stance wherein they say, hey, when I call them, they say, Sunanda, whatever it takes to keep Daftar afloat. So I think it is these strong, when I've a lot of times I've interacted with you guys and I've said that, it's the value that we add. It's not a transaction, though business looks like a very transactional thing to do because it's all about money. But at the end of the day, money is a byproduct. And every business and every work we do is more of a value that we create and the value that we pass. And if we really believe in that value and focus on that, I think in difficult times like this, it pays off. So that has really worked for us in a way. And secondly, what we are totally believing in is talking. At times what happens is that we assume a lot of things. We assume that the landlords will not listen. Why will they listen? They, of course, I mean, why will they also, that's also a source of income for them. So why do I expect my landlord to listen to me? Or I might say that the members might will not listen. Or it's easy to assume that the vendors will just go off if you're going to talk anything to them. But I think it's the major humanity bit which at times goes missing when it comes to work in business. If that remains always, not only in such times, because in such times it definitely comes up, but if it remains always as a part of your dealings with all your stakeholders, be it vendors, be it your members, be it your team members, then in times like this it becomes easier to talk and discuss, because you've already kept that window of talking open. If you keep that window open, it gives the opportunity to both the sides. It does not mean that you take other person for a ride. I'm not saying that you ask for certain favors or you ask for certain benefits. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying that if at times a vendor comes to you and says that ये महीना मुझे थोड़ा ज्यादा लगेगा या ये महीना मुझे पेमेंट जल्दी लगेगा, and if you be a little human and you cooperate at that time, and when the time would come to you, then they would also behave human to you, because it is the time when you have to this time can only be taken care of, we can tide through this time if we all behave human. I think that is the basic thing which is missing when we are talking about not just COVID challenge, but all the global challenges, be the racism bit, be the animal cruelty bit, be anything that we are talking about. Even when you said that, the nature is wreaking havoc on us, is something that we have created because we've taken being human very granted. That, we have got this intellect, we've got money, we've got wealth at our disposal, and we have all the rights to get whatever we want. And I think this is, and coincidentally, yesterday I came across a post. So a lot of times all of us on Instagram and Facebook would be looking at 2020 would be deleted, or I want to, how can I run away from 2020, or what has 2020 brought in. So it's the perspective, whether 2020 should be deleted or maybe whether 2020 should be framed. It all depends on us. So that I came across this very interesting post written by a US actress, which she talked about, 2020 should not be deleted. And I really connected with that. Like 2020 is the year which is making us realize so many things that we were taking for granted. We were taking our families for granted. We were taking our businesses for granted. We were getting whatever convenience we were getting, which was created over a period of generations, was taken for granted. It was never that, we earned it. We thought that it comes as a default, which it doesn't. And when such a time has come, I think we value each and every convenience that we get. Be it somebody coming and helping us with the daily chores of life, be it the taxis, Olas and Ubers of our life, the transportation, be it the loads of entertainment sources that we have. We've been taking everything for granted, and now is the time when we will start valuing everything, even valuing money. Because when it's something which becomes limited, then you start valuing. We will start valuing being able to go out and meet friends. I think a lot of people, and you would connect to me very, very well, that we are dying to meet our friends. We're dying to move out of the house and be able to hug our friends. So the bare thing which we said comes very, very easily has become like the one of the most difficult or the challenging things ever to do. So it's really up to us whether we say that this is the worst year ever, or whether we make the best out of this year. A very interesting example I'll share with you, even though it's a corporate example, but it's just how you can make the most of this opportunity. I came across this very interesting case study, or say an example, wherein Reliance Industries bought a company which was going bankrupt. So there was this company, and this company was going bankrupt. So what Reliance Industries did is that it purchased this company, and once it purchased it, it's a fabric company. So they manufacture fabrics. So what the Reliance did is that it turned around the entire company. It turned around the operations. It turned around. So since it was into bankruptcy, there were a lot of challenges there. So, in terms of operations, in terms of putting in funds, in terms of changing the processes, in terms of changing the machinery. But since Reliance has the might of the wealth, it was able to do that. But see how it changed it is that using that industry, Reliance started manufacturing PPE suits. Now PPE suits are the need of the hour. And now Reliance is able to sell those PPE suits at 1/3 of the cost at which we are importing it from China. And that company has grown over 300% in the past 1 month. So it's really, either you sit and say that, this is the worst time ever and you shouldn't be venturing out into anything, or even the bigger corporates are able to make changes which are making them grow. So they say that adversity is the time when most of the inventions take place. It's when that need comes. It's when that, not just the need, it's when that, sar ke upar se pani uth jata hai na, and when you want that change, it is only when such changes come. और ये change कौन लेकर आता है? ये change actually entrepreneurs ही लेकर आते हैं. Because they are the ones who are value creators. They are the ones who identify the opportunities, and they're the ones who create these opportunities into business ideas which are further developed into great businesses and great empires. So it really depends on us. A lot of people have started manufacturing masks at this time because masks are needed. People are investing into different kind of sanitizer, to how companies can be held into remote working, because all bigger corporates, it's not easy to start working remotely. Something that used to happen physically every day, really, it's about huge data which is based out of how the work remains secure, how to ensure that the team is able to collaborate, how to ensure the productivity of their members. So a lot of things, a lot of companies are already working on how they can add value and how they can really tide through or evolve in this time. So it's not just about tiding through. A lot of companies have already announced, like Twitter has announced, that they'll be working for the entire year remotely. So they're not going to call their members. So changes are taking place, and most of them, or not most of them, but few of them, I would say, out of our lives, people would start studying to get productivity from their people, and so they might just want to shift to remote working. In fact, we as co-working spaces are also looking at the positive side of it, because now a lot of companies will start analyzing their cash flows. They will also start thinking that now my people are not coming, I am paying huge rents, or I am investing so much money in buying offices. What is the point of doing that? Let me just collaborate with certain co-working spaces. My people will not have to travel